bring this up to you guys, especially for people living here in Canada. I want to make this really clear. Americans, wake up to this. Ear open on this one. The Liberal government next year is going to work really hard to fix this next election. Oh, we know that, Mike. All elections are fixed. Let me explain to you what's going on. There's a guy named Mark Carney, and he will become Canada's next prime minister. He will become Canada's next prime minister, and I'll tell you why. It's because he was the governor of the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013. Carney led Canada's central bank during the 2008 financial crisis, the financial crisis. He implemented policies that helped Canada use its housing market to prop up Canada's GDP. See, Canada doesn't fabricate or export things like they used to. Canada's GDP is heavily dependent on real estate, housing, right? And Mark Carney found a way for China's capital flows to enter Canada and price out our own middle class. Bidding wars that started in 2011 created artificial shortages, and wages are not tied to real estate. And that's something we've been very vocal about on this channel for almost 15 years. The wages are not tied nowhere near to real estate, average wage earners, right? So it got to a point where people had to save for 30 years to put a down payment on a one-bedroom apartment. Now pay close attention, folks, because I really want to share this. This is a very important message that I get this out. So here it is. And we told you 8 years ago. What did we say 8 years ago? Canada is wide open. CCP, launder your money here in our housing as China clamps down on capital flows. So Mark Carney knew that there was a lot of money leaving China. He knew that. And he wanted to exploit that and bring it to Canada. Urgent. China suffers largest capital flow in Canadian real estate is skyrocketing everywhere. 8 years ago. Look at this. More money will be parked in real estate and drive up prices and leave the locals bought out. The whole western seaboard of Vancouver to San Diego will be unaffordable. And that was 8 years ago. We were already warning you guys about this and how this was happening. Now, how is this? I'll tell you more how this ties in to Mark Carney, the future Prime Minister of Canada, right? I'll tell you more. And what happened was that forgot one more headline here, and it led to this: Canada would be in a recession without money laundering, and here are the hundreds of billions of dollars that were laundered through Canada by province, and this was an estimate in when the heck was this? 2019. We're already in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, and Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. Now, Mark Carney. Let's tie this in even further, and I'll show you guys why we're not welcome anywhere on social media. Mark Carney was the governor of the Bank of England from 2013 to 2020. He became the first non-British governor of the Bank of England. He managed UK monetary policy through Brexit and helped stabilize financial markets. How? How did he do this? How did he do it? Well, he played his own trick that he did in Canada. And we covered it here on a video. There it is right there. World economy would collapse if the City of London stopped laundering money. World economy would collapse if the City of London stopped laundering money, says HSBC whistleblower. That was January 2020. And Mark Carney was there like a well-oiled machine, setting this up. Just like he did for Canada and bought out. And that's why London and England and Ireland and Scotland and all that UK is been sold out to the highest bidders from China, right? Let's keep going. You want to see the article? There it is right there. World economy would collapse if City of London stopped laundering money, says HSBC whistleblower. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been laundered through the London financial system. Okay? And then let's move over to here. Look. London millionaire ghost homes. Bank of England set to crumble. More money laundering now. 6 years ago. London housing falling. Toronto and Seattle are winning the money laundering wars. So this Mark Carney guy started money laundering wars. You had Australia fighting for money launderers from China to prop up their real estate market. You had New Zealand fighting tooth and nail, giving people even incentives that, oh, you don't have to be New Zealand. You just come here. We'll give you an incentive. We'll give you tax free. We'll get rid of your stamp duty. We'll do whatever we can to accommodate more money laundering to come in and buy our properties and leave them all empty. And money laundering wars started. And it was countries opening their doors. Here's another one here. Economic takeover of London, Dublin, Edinburgh, UK. Mass exodus, UK homeless crisis 7 years ago. And Ireland's dying. We're talking about the inflation and what's hitting there and CPP money laundering. Chinese investors are buying up Athens, Greece fast. So there it is right there. Let's keep going with this Mark Carney guy. There is more. And then what did we end up telling you? We told you because the financial system was so bad. What did we say? Well, here it is. So we got Nolan Fisher messaging me, asking me, how are they going to shut this down, right? So Nolan Fisher is asking, hold on, okay. So basically he's asking, governments will do what they can to shut it down. Yes. So again, it goes back to what we said earlier in a few videos or quite a few videos ago, where I was in my van and I was telling you guys basically that governments will do anything and everything to not take any accountability for the financial mess they've put us in. See that? The financial mess they put us in. The financial money laundering disaster they put us in. And I even went as far as saying they're going to go to a hot war. Okay? Or if they have to, they're going to pull the trigger on a mass pandemic. Because they're going to have to shut this down. We're accountability for the financial mess they've put us in. And I even went as far as saying they're going to go to a hot war. Okay? Or if they have to, they're going to pull the trigger on a mass pandemic. Because they're going to have to shut this down. We're going into 2019 in a couple of hours where I am. And we all already, the world is in protest. It would... Interesting. Very interesting, eh? Yeah. And now you're wondering, you're saying, oh, Mike, it's impossible to fix. They're not going to, they're going to fudge the numbers. We're going to have voting machine issues. But they're going to find a way to make this Mark Carney guy win. You know why? He'll get the public sector vote. Mark Carney will get the public sector vote because the six-figure income earners in Canada are on the hook, and they know it. And this is why everyone in Canada in the public sector hates Donald Trump, because they're afraid of losing their six-figure income job working for the government, doing whatever it is they think they're doing for the government or for us, providing us some sort of a service. But if anything, they are taxing us to death. So let's keep going. What do we tell you about public sector and what's going on? Canadian small business sees layoffs, more private sector destruction as public sector grows. Public sector jobs in America grow, same thing in America, and government jobs destroying Canada. By 2025, 60% public sector. By 2030, 80 to 85% public sector. Canadian economy is too dependent on public sector jobs. Nearly 9 out of 10 jobs created in 2021. So do the math there. If Mark Carney could get the public sector to vote for him, he'll win the election. Useless public sector jobs getting hacked by Trump. Oh, that's a new one. Never mind that one. Let's go to an older one. 7 years ago here. Private versus public sector jobs. Canadian interest rates were raised on junk employment data. So fake Canadian job growth. Public sector does not count. Mom and pops to be taxed to death. Right? Mike in the night. Public sector workers can't live on their own in their own cities. Postal, police, and teachers 5 years ago. This is why public sector workers in Canada are getting six-figure incomes. Because they can't afford the multi-million-dollar bungalow or million one-bedroom condo because it's been destroyed by money laundering, right? And the Trudeau is failing the elites, and we could see here Trudeau failing the elites when we told you here that Trudeau visited Trump to protect CPP interest, fentanyl trafficking, housing affordability, CPP. So 2 months ago, words Trudeau to visit Trump to protect CPP interests. And then Trudeau to protect CPP interests, Trump suggests Canada become the 51st state, U.S. take us over now. And this is why I've been advocating for an American takeover. What's the point of this idea of Canada if the people that built the country or the people that oil the gears are kicked out of the equation, are not part of it no more? You know what I'm saying? And this is how Canada is in serious danger, and how Mark will win this next election. He will win. They'll do whatever they can to get this in. You're going to have the Chinese back them. You're going to have a lot of backing. You're going to have a lot of hacking. You're going to have a lot of stuff here. And what does Mark Carney want to do? Well, he wants to usher in, the digital ID. He wants to, that reminds me of a 2019 Mike in the Night 2019 Mike in the Night with Epstein. That was a picture of Mark Carney with Epstein, right? And he wants the UBI. He wants to oppress the Canadian proper and destroy the Canadian proper, right? By taxing us to death. And was it travel pass, digital travel IDs and all kinds of other stuff? It's and more deregulation of our banking system to allow governments to do more garbage. And this is why I've been longing for an American takeover for many, many years now. And this is probably why I've been blacklisted for the longest time on social media. The longest time trying to get my word out. My here's a little sprinkle on the cake. You guys think I'm kidding? Look at this. We were covering this. Canada turning communist. Chinese buyers own $45.25 billion worth of Vancouver real estate. And let's fast forward here. Look, you see that? Vancouver. Boom. Foreign buyers own $37.37 billion worth of Toronto real estate. And that was 7 years ago we made this video. We made this video for you guys in 2017. Right here's the date. Right there. Let me see, you can see it right there. December 20th, 2017. I was telling you guys about this money laundering takeover. And then it goes into the fentanyl, the Chinese gangs, which we all covered years ago. Up to 10 years ago, we were covering that. We were warning you guys. And now they're going to get the money laundering king, Mark Carney, the money laundering king, that fixed 2 economies with money laundering from China. What an absolute disaster that's. And if this guy gets in, I don't want this guy to get in. Heck, I would rather have no government and I'd rather be taken over by the United States in a heartbeat at the rate we're going now. You guys have no idea of the destruction and the destructive path ahead for Canada. It's grim, it's dirty, and it's going to get a lot worse unless America steps in and fixes this problem.